Welcome back to the Explainer. So, if you're a focused learner looking to process information faster, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're going to completely change how you look at the written word. We're talking about high-speed reading comprehension. But, not that gimmicky kind, where you just awkwardly scan your eyes down the middle of a page. Actually, true rapid reading, it isn't about trying to absorb every single solitary word. It's really about cracking a hidden code built right into the text itself.
I mean, have you ever wondered about this? You're sitting there, just slogging through a dense manual or some heavy academic paper, and somebody else just breezes right past you, retaining all the crucial details. Like, how do they do it? What cheat codes are they using to unlock the meaning so fast? Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's the reality. Skilled readers don't process text word by isolated word. Instead, they read the invisible connections. Basically, they're looking at the architectural wiring of the paragraph. Sentences and paragraphs aren't just random words thrown together, right? They're structured ideas connected by very specific linguistic hinges. And once you learn to spot those hinges, your reading speed and your comprehension are going to absolutely skyrocket. Let's take a super simple example just to prove why this matters. Check out the clumsy sentence on the left side. Mr. Salman bought a new car. Mr. Salman's children haven't seen the new car yet. Reading that, either out loud or in your head, is just totally monotonous and inefficient. Now contrast that with the right side. Mr. Salman bought a new car. His children haven't seen it yet. See what the author did? They used his and it. These tiny little linguistic links prevent repetition fatigue, and they let our brains process the info smoothly and rapidly. So here is our codebreaker's guide for today's explainer. First, the secret to rapid reading. Second, references, the invisible shortcuts. Third, connectives, the textual signposts. Fourth, the 7 types of connectives. Fifth, putting it all into practice. And finally, number 6, your new reading superpower. All right, starting off with section 1, the secret to rapid reading. Ultimately, this big secret really just comes down to anticipation. Skilled readers instantly recognize the specific words and phrases that link ideas together. When you spot these structural joints, you can actually anticipate what the author's going to say before they've even finished the sentence. You're not getting bogged down in individual, let's face it, often boring data points. You're actually riding the current of the author's logic. Moving right along to section 2, references, the invisible shortcuts. So, what is a reference? It's essentially a pronoun or a substitute used for a word that's already appeared or is about to appear. Think of them as invisible ink pointing backward and forward in a paragraph. When an author uses words like he, they, former, latter, which, or these, they're creating a shortcut for you. Recognizing exactly what those words point back to instantly clarifies the subject, and it does it without forcing your brain to reread the original noun. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing just how much heavy lifting tiny words can do. Check out this quote. Everyone seems to think the chairman is guilty. If so, he will probably resign. If not, we should apologize to him. Look at those words, so and not. They completely substitute the entire complex concept of being guilty. I mean, imagine reading, if he is guilty, he will resign. If he is not guilty, we should apologize. It's so clunky, right? By identifying so and not as reference markers, a rapid reader saves precious mental energy and time. That brings us to section 3, connectives, the textual signposts. Now, while references point to nouns, connectives, which are also known as transitional markers, actually indicate relationships. They're the conjunctions that join ideas together. You can think of them as the true joints of the text structure. They allow the narrative to bend, to contrast, to show a result, or to build upon itself. They literally tell you how to think about the next sentence. Next up, section 4, the 7 types of connectives. All right, here is your ultimate rapid reading toolkit. Connectives basically signal 7 things: result, contrast, comparison, illustration or example, cause and effect, series or time sequence, and addition. Each one of these categories signals a completely distinct logical relationship to the rapid reader. Just scanning this matrix, you can really see how this works in real time. Look at the contrast column. If you see however or despite, your brain should immediately prepare for a pivot in the argument. If you spot therefore or hence, you know a result is arriving. Similarly, tells you we're mapping one idea onto another, and if then lays down a super strict cause and effect. Truly, memorizing the functions of these specific words is essentially installing a speed reading cheat code directly into your brain. To see the addition connective in action, let's take a look at this example with Cameron. Cameron Ali smokes too much. Furthermore, he drops ash all over the floor. That word furthermore is a massive signal and honestly a messy one in this case. It tells the reader, hey, hold on to that first thought because I'm piling a secondary, related idea right on top of it. You don't have to reevaluate the context, you just mentally stack the new information. And this brilliantly illustrates why we need Section 5, putting it into practice. Let's head into the sandbox. Okay, so here we have a piece of pretty dense academic text analyzing Shakespearean authorship. At first glance, a paragraph like this can slow a reader right down. Some few, of course, still believe that Shakespeare could not have written the plays attributed to him, but they have difficulty explaining the fact. To the untrained eye, that is just a wall of words. But let's look closer at the hidden wiring. First, we spot the reference him. Well, who is him? Our brain instantly draws an arrow back to Shakespeare. Next, we see the reference they. Who has difficulty explaining? They points right back to these some few who doubt Shakespeare. And sitting smack in the middle of all this is the connective but. That's our contrast marker. The author is contrasting the doubters' beliefs with their inability to explain the facts. Just by spotting those two references and one connective, the whole complex academic sentence instantly unzips and makes perfect logical sense. And this strategy works across all disciplines, even dense computer science texts. Take this paragraph. A computer, like any other machine, is used because it does certain jobs better. Therefore, computers are used when the time saved offsets their cost. So the crucial point is, the word because flags the cause, and therefore loudly broadcasts the effect. You don't have to reread to understand the economic logic here. The transitional markers literally hand you the blueprint of the argument. Also, when you're dealing with history, keep an eye out for series and time sequences connectives. We're talking words like previously, then, first, secondly, and now. When you're reading about the evolution from the abacus to Charles Babbage to transistors and then into the future, these specific connectives physically map out the historical timelines right there in the text. They tell your brain exactly where to place each data point on the chronological shelf. Which brings us to our final stop, Section 6. Your new reading superpower. Really, what you've acquired today is a fundamental shift in how you process information. By identifying references, you avoid that awful repetition fatigue, and you keep your reading fluid. By spotting connectives, you anticipate logical turns. You know exactly when the author is adding on, contrasting, or driving toward a result. And this empowers you to skim massive, intimidating texts just by scanning for the architectural joints. You're going to comprehend dense material so much faster and, honestly, far more accurately. You now have the toolkit to process a document the exact same way a master architect looks at a blueprint. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The next time you sit down with a heavy report, a textbook, or an academic paper, will you just see the words on the page, or will you actually see the wiring?